Fine. Good morning, everybody. Again, so in my last videos, we have discussed what is the use of files and what are the steps involved in creation of the files. Then we have seen random access files and few library functions which are used for creation of the files and for applying reading and writing operations, and few example programs we have seen in the previous videos. Now in this class I'm going to explain you about the command line arguments. So first of all, before going to know about this command line arguments, in general when we are writing the program, for every program in C language, main function is considered as the starting point or entry point for every execution. So here all other functions we are going to write inside of the main function for reading the input or for displaying the output, for calculations, everything. But here, if I have a chance to give the input straight away to the main function, it can save our time. See, for example, if I wanted to display a hello on the screen, if I wanted to display a hello on the screen, generally we'll write the main function, and inside of it I'm going to write the printf statement, and here I am going to display hello. Okay, so here if I need to display the hello with a name, something hello Sudhakar, if I wanted to display, now I have to take a string variable, and for that string variable, with the help of scanf function, I have to read the data, and that variable name I have to display in the printf function. But for reading of the data or for displaying the data, I must enter into the main function at the time of execution. So instead of using that scanf function, instead of using that one more variable, I can even give the input straight away to the main function. That thing we call it as command line arguments. Because if you strictly observe here, whenever you are writing the int main function, even though I'm not writing any arguments here inside of the main function, I'm returning a value 0. So with the help of this concept, when I'm executing the program, there itself I might be giving the values. When I'm executing the program, there itself I'm giving the values followed by the program name that has to be displayed. So here for example, I am executing the program like a.out, and here if I am giving my name Sudhakar and I'm expecting the output as hello Sudhakar, so implementation of this particular concept we call it as command line arguments. So for this, when we are writing the main function, we have to give two parameters over there. The first parameter is argc, the second parameter is argv. So here argc is one of the parameter which always refers to the number of arguments passed to the program at the time of execution. And argv, it's act like as a pointer array which will point to each individual arguments passed to the program. And by default argv of 0 is reserved for the program name. Argv of 0 is reserved for the program name. Later, from argv of 1 to argv of how many arguments we are given, that means argc minus 1. So these all are the command line arguments. Okay, so that indicates the individual elements we are given. See, for example, in the previously I am written something like hello as my program name, or sorry, dot slash a dot out, then Sudhakar I am written over there, right? So here argv of 0 is this output file like a dot out, that is our program name, and next this Sudhakar is stored into argv of 1. So this is given as element in the command line. Okay, so these are the two essential things I have to give it. Now the same thing if I wanted to display it on the screen. Okay, if I wanted to display it on the screen with the help of command line arguments, so how I am going to write the program? So as usual, the first thing, we need to write the header file. So the default header file in the C language is stdio.h, because we know in every program at least one input output function I'm going to be used. So standard input output is going to give you the supporting documents for those input output functions. So it must be included first. So next, I'm going to write the main function. See, when I'm writing the main function, just observe here, as of now every program we are given with empty parameters, but now instead of taking the input through input devices from the with the help of scanf function or at the time of running itself, that means at the time of executing the program itself, I wanted to pass the arguments. So those can be given as command line arguments. So that can be given with two parameters here. One is argc, and next one more character array I have to give it for storing individual command line arguments. And here I am giving empty parenthesis because I don't know how many number of arguments I am going to be given. Simply if I execute only one parameter, there is a program name, or if I am giving one name along with that, so two arguments, one more name if I am giving three arguments, so like that. So I am giving only empty parenthesis for the argv. Okay, and these are the two parameters which will specify the command line arguments. So now here I'm going to just to display something, printf hello percentile s. So this s value, as I'm not giving any input here, right, but at the time of execution in the command line, whatever the name I wanted to give it, that name has to be displayed here. So by default I told you argv of 0 is reserved for the name of the program, so the value is available in argv of 1, the first parameter. Only one parameter I wanted to display. If I have one more parameter I'm giving, so one more percentile is argv of 2, like that we can give over there, and return 0. Simple. Close the program. So now how to run this program? Because first of all we have to compile the program as usual. If I am using the Linux environment, so it will be compiled gcc your program name something. If I am giving like hello.c, so that will be executed. So now it is going to create an executable file like with the name of a. So if you wanted to give some name over there, that is also possible, we can rename it. So as of now I'm not renaming it, so compile if there is no errors, so we can execute the program. So while execution, what I have to do is simple, I am doing dot slash a dot out and Sudhakar if I am given. Okay, now here a dot out is treated as a program name, so that is for the argv of 0. Now in place of argv of 1, I am given my name, so that will be printed here, and I'll get the output here as hello Sudhakar. I'll get over there. So this is the output I'll get for that, and this is the way of giving command line arguments to the program. Okay, and here we'll see even one more example, like here what are the inputs I am given. Okay, what are the inputs I am given? Is it also possible to go for doing the calculations? But here if you see, the argument names are mentioned in terms of a character array, is nothing but a string. Now my aim is to give two numbers in the command prompt, like two numbers, integer numbers in the command line, and those two numbers answer I am expecting in terms of sum. It means for example I am given 10 and 20, so 10 will be taken into argv of 1, 20 is taken into argv of 2. So simply if I write argv of 1 plus argv of 2, definitely it gives you an error, because argv of 1 is a string, argv of 2 is also a string, so addition of two strings with plus is not possible. So we have to use one of the function like a to I. Okay, we have to use one of the function like a to I. So this will automatically convert our string to integer. So later it will apply the operation. See the example we can see. So just addition of two numbers which are given as command line arguments, that we are going to see here. So first, as usual, stdio.h, and along with that I need to give one more header file as stdlib.header file. So this is used for a to I function. Okay, so next I have to write the main function. So in the main function, so number of argument, like count of arguments in terms of integer, and vector, a string, argv, and empty I have to give it. Okay, so now as I'm going to give two numbers, a comma b I am taken, and the result in terms of sum I am taken. Now first convert the first command line argument into integer and store into a. Second command line argument, convert into integer and store into b. So a is equal to a to I, okay, a to I of argv of 1, because first argument, because 0 is already program name, the first value will be stored in argv of 1. So in the same way, b is equal to a to I of argv of 2. So now two numbers are converted into integers, so simply we can apply sum is equal to a plus b and display the result. So printf, the sum is, and it is in terms of integers, so where it will be available in, sorry, it will be available in some variable. We are taking the variable name as sum, right? It will be available in some variable, and integer return type, so return 0, close it. Now how to run this program now? Okay, so first, as usual, whatever the program name you are taking, for example it is addition.c. okay, I'm taking the program name as addition.c. so first you need to compile it as usual, gcc addition.c. now if there are no errors are there, it is going to create one executable file at the backend with the name of addition.exe. okay, so now when we are running it, that file will be stored into .a, because we are not renamed anything, it's stored into .a. so run it dot slash a dot out. Here I need to give two values as the input. So one value I am given as 10, one value I am given as 20. 10, 20 I am given over there. Now 10 is stored into argv of 1, 20 is stored into argv of 2. Those two are converted into integers like 10 and 20 and stored into a and b. Now they will be added, 10 plus 20 it will be 30, and displaying some value. So I'll get the answer as sum is 30. So that's it. So this is the command line arguments, and what are the uses of it here is the major thing for faster inputs, because at the time of running the program itself we are giving in the command line itself, so it will take it as a faster input, and which is suitable for batch processing, and automation is also friendly. The limitations will be as limited number of arguments we can pass over there, and user must know the correct syntax, and input validations also required. So that is what the command line arguments. Thank you everybody.